Before we try to generate concepts, let us stop to remember that there are 4 different kinds of corporate identity components. Let's talk about it. Separate from the subject of concepts is identity components. There are 4 different kinds of corporate identity components. They are 1. Signatures, 2. Wordmarks, 3. Monograms, and 4. Logos. Signatures. As the name implies, a signature is simply a unique way of writing a name. Similarly, brand signatures are corporate names written in a specific font. They have no distinguishing or unique design element added, nor any concept. They are just the corporate name set in a particular type of lettering. Signatures are best suited for brand name consumer products and the corporations that produce them. Cosmetics, fashion, electronics are all sectors where this kind of branding is popular. It would be inaccurate, however, to say that all companies and brands in cosmetics, fashion, and electronics use only signatures. They are generally not well suited for identities of other kinds of businesses or corporations, which makes up the vast majority of identities in use in the world. Originally, the term signature meant a personal handwritten name with natural distinctive characteristics. Interestingly, a signature that is truly distinctive with a deliberate and individual treatment of letters or a unique design element is no longer properly called a signature, but a wordmark. Wordmarks are sometimes called logotypes, but some people erroneously say logotypes or wordmarks when they mean signatures or logos. Therefore, because of misuse, the term logotype might well be avoided altogether. For our purposes, plain type right off the keyboard, with proper kerning of course, is not a wordmark. That's just a signature. A wordmark, by contrast, must have some unique design element embedded in the word. Perhaps just a type ligature. What distinguishes a wordmark from a signature is some unique design element, or being hand-drawn. It might be missing the crossbar, like the A in Samsung. Sometimes it is subtle, like the tail on the G in Ogilvy, becoming the dot for the I, or the wedges taken out of certain letters in Bridgestone. Other times, it can be more obvious, like the arched baseline in the Netflix wordmark, or the arrows on Subway. The only drawback with wordmarks is that they have just one single format, whereas both monograms and logos, because they are separate from their signatures, can be arranged in different configurations for varying layout needs. Even so, wordmarks are and will continue to be very useful for corporate identity. Monograms. Monograms are a kind of logo that includes or resembles the initial or initials of the company's functional name. Monograms are most often used with an accompanying signature, as in the WordPress identity, but sometimes monograms appear alone, as in the case of IBM or HBO, where the initials have become the functional corporate name, and not the words they originally stood for, International Business Machines or Home Box Office. In these cases, the monogram becomes a coined word or acronym. Monograms usually contain the first letters of the corporate name rendered in a unique graphic way. The signature spells out the corporate name, Motorola and Hilton, for instance. Note that the signature font either contrasts in style with the monogram font, as in the case of Motorola and Kawasaki here, or matches it exactly, as in the case of Chanel. Similar but non-matching fonts don't work well. This is a principle of coincide or contrast that we have already discussed. Avoid making the monogram the first letter in the signature, as this often interferes with easy reading. Logos. Logos are unique design elements that do not resemble letters. They are separate from, but used in conjunction with a signature. Type right off the keyboard, with proper kerning of course, which usually has no distinctive design elements of its own. As with monograms, avoid using the logo in place of any letter in the signature, as this usually impedes easy reading of the name. In this context, the logo and the signature together constitute the corporate identity. Why the name of this course? Even though, for the purpose of this course, I assign separate terms for wordmarks, monograms, and logos, the population at large associates the word logo with anything that functions as a corporate identity. It is in this context that the title Logo Design Theory was given for this course, and the book upon which it was based, so that it may be understood by the layperson as well as the professional. Functional name versus legal name. In identity design, the full legal name is not used. Words such as corporation, company, or Inc. are almost never included in a corporate identity. Instead, a shorter name, often just one word, is the functional name, used either in the signature or wordmark. Furthermore, there are some celebrated examples of using the popular name of a company over the formal name, as in so many areas of design, when it comes to words that must be designed, less is more. Given that signatures represent so little design value added, and given that their use is mostly limited to national consumer brands, they should not be considered for other corporate identity projects. Even though there are 4 possible components, only 3, wordmarks, monograms, and logos, are the best for most identities. Therefore, even though there are 4 possible components for branding, since there is no concept to just choosing a font, that is why only these 3 components are in the center of the conceptualizing wheel. If we use these 3 as the center of a wheel, we can see how they can relate to concepts, which we'll cover next in the outer wheel. Looking at it this way will help a designer cover all the bases when developing ideas or concepts. Now that we've covered components, next we'll cover branding concepts. For more information, go to logodesigntheory.com. If you found this useful, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and share this with anyone who needs to know more about logo design.